YouTube.
Hey y'all,
back with another video.
So this is part 2 to our Q&A video. Make sure you've watched part 1 before you watch this one. Thank you.
Yeah, if you ain't checked it out yet, make sure we'll link it in the below in the comments. So make sure you go check it out. Click that link and go check it out, and then come back over here and then watch this one.
Yes. All right, so these questions are questions that y'all asked on
Snapchat.
On Instagram.
Do people still get on Snapchat? I
Only
used to
thing I
be
do
on
on
that
Snapchat-
tough long time ago.
The only thing I do on Snapchat is talk to my sisters. I don't even post on my actual Snapchat. So
I got some streaks that I've been keeping up for over 1,000 days. So that's literally the only thing I do on there. And then every now and then I post a picture of cash. But I used to be on there tough, especially when I worked out a lot. When I get back to the gym, I'm sure I'll post on there because that's where I'll be posting all my little workout videos because I don't have nobody too crazy following me.
Okay, we got all off topic. All right, okay. So let's go to these questions. They was just right there. I'm gonna start it off with the questions.
Okay. Now, are you and your...
So, before we even get to this, y'all asked me a lot of questions about my mama. So, all of the questions about my mom, I'm going to answer them all at one time, after we answer all of the other questions. Because I feel like some of them are repetitive and some of them lead into the other one. So, I'm going to answer all of the questions about my mom at the end. And that's how I know y'all been following us, or y'all been with us for a while, because y'all haven't asked me questions about my mom. I haven't even said anything about my mom in over a year. And then now suddenly, after the baby, all y'all hey, wait, remember what you said? So, but no, we're gonna ask all the other questions and then we'll go back to that.
But, so the first question number 1. What made Elle change her mind about kids? I don't think I really have an exact answer, but I don't know, time. I've always been a no, but I've always told people that I was about a 90-10. So there was always a small possibility. I have never wanted to carry, and so in part 1 I told y'all I'm not sure. If I carry, I've been going back and forth teetering on the idea, but I don't know. And it wasn't, I don't want anybody to think I was forced into it, because I wasn't.
You can't force somebody to be a parent.
Nah, I work with kids. I love kids, and I've always told people that my reasoning was for selfish reasons for myself. I was young. I just never thought that I had a lot of motherly instincts. I've been the only child, so I haven't been around a lot of little kids. But usually when the ones that I am around, they like me. But I just never, most girls grow up and they man, I want to have babies. I want to get married. That was just stuff that as a kid, I just never did. And then in my past relationship, it wasn't something that me or him wanted. So it was cool. And so I prepared my parents for that, and I just stuck with it. And then when I started dating after that relationship expired, I just lived with it. I stuck with that. I didn't want kids, and I didn't want to make anybody be with me, fall in love with me, and then have to break their heart, because I didn't want to have them. But in this situation, T could carry, so it took away a little bit of the stress, because I didn't have to do that part. So it just all worked out. I kind of just started envisioning my life having a family. Not a big family, but I was maybe we could do it. But you carry, and I'll be a good support system, and that's what I did. But you know what I'm saying? As you grow up, I feel you make growth in certain areas, and I just feel I just matured, and things change. People change. Your mind change. So that's all I got to say about that.
The next one says, what advice would you give to someone who's not 100% comfortable with their sexuality? I don't know if I should answer that or should you? I'm comfortable.
I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable who I am now. I guess since I was the one that was probably in your shoes not too long ago, I'll answer. I'm not gonna lie. When I finally got to the point where I knew I was trying to figure out who I was probably at my lowest point in my life. When I finally came to the realization, like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is who I love. And I wasn't sure how to navigate it. And when you don't have anybody to talk to, or you feel like you don't have anybody you can talk to, I don't know, I just feel like I was alone. Sometimes I just feel like maybe this wasn't where I wanted to be. So my advice is that don't get to that point. Okay, because you don't you don't want to be in a place where you feel like you're at a point where you can't take it. And I feel like you'll feel better if you just come to terms like, this is just who I am. The world is evolving a lot, and like we said in the last video, people gonna love you that love you, and if they don't, if they ain't moving and they ain't vibing with where you are or where you at, let them go. And if they come back, great. But you don't need that extra added stress on, especially when it comes to sexuality. Not everybody in your outside circle is going to be cool with it, so you don't want to have to worry about the people that's supposed to have your back feeling weird about who you are.
Yeah. So find someone to talk to, get you a support system, and just start doing things to make you feel better about who you are, because you're the only person who can live your life.
Yep, just be true to who you are and stick with that and ride with it. If you're confident in who you are, other people will be okay with it.
Yep. Or they'll move around, and if they move around, then you didn't need them in the first place.
Peace.
How is life with your new adult joy? I think we answered that already in part 1. If you could offer any advice to a new couple 1 to 2 years, what would you suggest? I would suggest, so couple before you, I'm assuming you're not engaged or married or anything, if you're just a couple, my biggest thing is to communicate. Don't let things fester for a very long time. Just communicate with each other, be real open and honest about your feelings, because that's the only way that relationships work. Holding on to things, lying, just not being truthful about how you feel, it just makes things bad. And if you're arguing, then sometimes you're arguing about what you're arguing about. Other times you're arguing about something underlying. So just communicate. That's my advice.
Yeah, I say the same thing. Have the tough conversations up front. Don't wait, because I feel like where people fail a lot is it was something that could have been discussed at the beginning, and you let some time go by, and it's something that you brushed it under the rug and didn't have that conversation. So I had those conversations as hard as they might be.
Yep. This one.
Which one? What has been the most challenging thing to overcome in your relationship?
Go ahead.
Go.
You go.
No.
Go ahead.
No. The beautiful ones first.
Right, so go.
I think at the beginning, because I wasn't true to who I was, I think that was probably the hardest part. And then me not wanting to have kids.
Her not wanting to have kids broke us up a couple times.
We did not break up.
We were not going to be together plenty of times because she didn't want to have kids.
We wasn't even all the way together. Too, when she was talking about this, she'd be trying to leave me. I'm like, where you going? But yeah, we weren't on the same page about kids, but I was always honest. So
yeah.
But I mean,
we've overcome it. That was
that
was hard, but
it was super hard.
Again, communication. We already answered the questions about carrying and having more kids. What did you get for a push gift? I got money. Money, 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 money. Money. And I got a son. Mainly. That was my... People say that. They're like, oh my God, yes, your baby's a gift, but what'd you actually get? I got money. How long have we been together? I don't know. We met 4 years ago, March 24th. So if you follow us on Instagram, you saw my little video. We met 4 years ago, March 24th. So there you go. We already answered how much was the transition. How did you all mean? How do you feel? How does your family feel about you all marriage? Our families, for the most part, are fine. I mean, if you watched us, if you found us by our wedding video, you see that a lot of people was there, a lot of family, a lot of friends. We had a good time. Not all families okay with it, and that's okay with us. But the people who support us. And majority of them do.
And we respect it.
And we respect it. We respect their decisions. Just one.
Any hard challenges having a newborn? The Nicu. I'm gonna say it over and over and over again.
The Nicu was the hardest part.
It was tough.
And we I guess because we keep saying that, but we haven't really touched on a couple of things. So we'll touch on a couple of things what we mean about the NICU. Or at least for me, I'll say one or two things that was hard for me, and then Eb can say what was hard for her. Okay. For me, first of all, having my baby early was hard because you go through this guilt, which of course my doula and my sisters and just everybody say, you don't feel guilty, but you feel guilty that your baby isn't safe with you or wasn't safe with you, that now he has to be out in the world before he's ready. So that was really hard. That was a challenge for me. And not only that, we were in the hospital with him for 4 days and then we had to leave. So leaving him at the hospital was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Like, I cried so many tears for days, just probably every day for about a week. Once we actually had to leave the hospital, just because it's like, I'm leaving my baby here. And so that didn't sit well with me. That was a challenge for us. It was another challenge once I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I know he's there. It was another challenge not being able to give him the love I feel like he deserved. Like, as a new mom, you love on your baby, you hold him, you want him to bond with you, you want him to, know that you're there and that he's safe with you. And I wasn't able to do that because he was in the NICU. And the nurses in the NICU, which I had to tell myself, they are medical providers. They are not caregivers. I'm his caregiver. So things that I feel like he should have been getting, if he wasn't getting that, it made me upset or it made me sad. And then that initiated some more tears because I wasn't able to be there around the clock to give him that. So like, we would see him on the camera, and if he was crying on the camera and the nurse wasn't in the room, I couldn't just run to the room. If I was at home, I could get in my car and drive up there, but is he going to cry for 30 minutes until I get up there? Or unless the nurse ends up going in his room before I get there, just certain things I just felt like I didn't have control over his care. Like, the nurses and the doctor, they did what they had to do, make sure he's alive, make sure he was healthy. But emotionally for him, being out into this world early, not feeling his mom, not feeling the presence of anyone else, being in an incubator, you know, for me, it's like he has to deal with all of those emotions as a newborn, and I was feeling all of those emotions as his mom, and I felt separation, and so my anxiety and all of that was a big challenge for me. Having him home has definitely eased a lot of my anxiety. Not all of it. I think that it crossed over, also being that month crossed over to us being at home, and so my anxiety is still really high, um dealing with, postpartum. So it's hard for me to kind of let him out of my sight, because for a month I didn't have that control, so I think that is probably the biggest challenge. He himself is not a challenge. I don't think there's anything with him that I can be like, oh, that's so hard, or oh, I mean, getting up in the middle of the night and changing him, feeding him, those are not things that are hard for me. I enjoy doing it. We might be tired at the end of the day, but it's only happened in his life once, and when he grows out of it, that'll be it. So I cherish it. When he get up in the middle of the night, if I'm exhausted and my eyes in the back of my head, I'm grateful because he's home. I'm able to love him. I'm able to change him. I know he's getting loved on. So, and I told him when he was in the NICU, I said, when you come home, I'm gonna love on you as much as you want to be loved on. So anytime he was like, then he's being loved on, either by me or him. So, I would say that for me.
Yeah, but I agree with what she said. The NICU was tough. I maybe not the same. I could see how she felt every day that we went and we left. It was tough for me. I had to go right back to work, so I never got a break. So it was hard to leave them and go to work and then have to come back, and then I'd be super tired. And I feel like I can, even though there was not much we could do when we were sitting there, but I felt helpless, like I can't do anything. But everything's better now. We're home. I feel better. So I I feel like my job at that point was just try to keep her from going crazy. You okay?
Mm-hmm. It's always thinking about it just makes me. Ugh. So that's all of the regular questions, and then all of the other questions are about my mama. So I'm going to go into this. Blah blah blah. So if you know, I mean, obviously y'all know because y'all asked the questions.
But if you don't know, if you're new here, she about to tell you.
Me and my mom.
You can see how she feel already.
No, me and my mom. I mean, it's not like the best relationship just because she is not very happy with the life I chose for myself. That's yeah. So so I'll put that there. I mean, if you watch the video, the wedding video, you know my mom was not at our wedding. She wasn't there. Okay. So then all of these questions. Has your mom met your wife and son? And if not, do you hope she will in the future? My mom has met Ebony plenty of times. She's met her before we were married. She's seen her like 5 times since we've been married. So yes, she's met her. No, she has not met Cash. Also, Cash has not been to Louisiana. My sisters, 2 of my sisters did come to Texas to meet him. Right after he was released from the hospital. So yeah, my dad has seen him over FaceTime and everything. And of course, my mom has seen him in pictures and stuff because we are both in a family group message. Do I hope she will in the future? I know she will eventually see him because we have the same family and we go to family events. So I know that will happen eventually. Someone said, your mom doesn't approve of your sexuality. Did she attend your wedding? Again, no, she did not. It was not, she didn't approve of it, so she didn't come to the wedding. Now, are you and your mom good? And does she accept her grandson? That is such a loaded question, because I'll say the second part of it. Does she accept her grandson? Yes. She accepts Cash as her grandson. However, that's a little harder for me, because I feel like accepting him as a grandson means accepting who his parents are. Yeah. And I don't feel like she's gotten to that point yet. So are me and her good? It's like I said, it's such a loaded question, because I feel like my mom owes me an apology, and she doesn't feel like she owes me one. So we're at like a standstill, if you want to call it that, because I don't feel like we can move forward without that. And I feel like she thinks because the baby is here that everything else before him didn't happen. And I don't feel that way. And that's what happens in a lot of Black families. Like, they brush things under the rug. But I am not that person. I used to be that person. Years ago, I used to be that person. You know, that's how we grow up. You know, we just let things go over time. And not to say that I'm holding on to anger, because I'm not angry anymore. When she didn't show up to my wedding, and when she didn't accept like our engagement and all that, I was angry. I was really mad, and I was hurt. But and for all of the other things, like we had conversations before my marriage that I just feel like that's what I feel like I'm owed an apology for. You know, certain things that she said that hurt my feelings. But I'm not angry at her anymore. I just feel like we can't have a relationship, one, until she apologizes to me and acknowledge the things that she has said that have hurt me. Two, when she accepts the fact that I'm married to a woman. You know, that we are Cash's parents. We will be raising him together. You know, this is his family before anybody else. So that has to happen. And it hasn't happened. So are we good? We're just at a standstill, you know? So not saying that my heart is hard towards her and like it'll never happen, but one day she'll get to the point, maybe, where she will acknowledge, take accountability, apologize, and then we can try to rebuild our relationship from there. Can't tell you when, if, how that'll happen, but whatever.
Hopefully. I'm hopeful. I've always been hopeful. So I'm gonna keep saying hopefully.
You're gonna keep saying hopefully?
Hopefully. Maybe.
And Ebba's just kind of following my lead on what.
That's her business. It don't have nothing to do with me. I'm just here to be supportive.
Yeah.
And be hopeful.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna speak on the back end. Like, I feel like, you know, people are like, oh, it's your mom, like, just get over it. I feel like when you're in this type of situation, you can't just get over things. And that is the problem in Black families, that we feel like we just have to get over stuff and we just have to take things at face value because it's what's given to us. And that's not true. Because I'm going to teach my son, if I'm going to be able to teach him to be accountable for the things that he do and say to people and to acknowledge how he makes people feel, then I have to hold that up for myself and for other people. Because I went through enough therapy in my life to accept who I am, to accept everything, to learn how to deal with trauma, and to, you know, break that generational habit of just allowing people to make you feel any type of way and feeling like you have to accept it because they're your parents or they're your family or they're your friends or whoever. And once I got to the point where I realized I don't have to, that when people make you feel a certain type of way, that you deserve peace in your own type of way. Like, it's like a love language. If I require a verbal acknowledgement and apology, then someone can't try to give me a non-verbal apology and for me to be okay with it, because then I'll still replay it and not be okay with it and pretend, but it'll still be hurting me. So don't let people do that to y'all. I used to be such a huge pushover, and once I got to the point where I wasn't anymore, a lot of people were like, oh, why are you acting like that? Because I wasn't allowing them to do to me what they used to. So people don't accept it, people don't agree with it, but it's my decisions, and I don't feel like what I ask for is too much. So
Do you, boss?
but yeah, that is all of those questions.
The last one was a lot.
I was asking a lot. Y'all, I was
Y'all
like,
was
y'all
trying to
been
get
around. Y'all was
deep.
trying to get in. Y'all wanted to know the nitty gritty. Y'all was like, and then it was like one question, then it was like 5. I was like, oh, where did this come from? But I think people started asking those questions because Cash is here. Because y'all haven't asked me questions about that in like over a year. So that's the end of this video.
Yeah, and we'll see y'all here next time.
Make sure you
Like, comment,
comment in,
subscribe.
and we'll see you in the next one.